So, today we're going to be doing a challenge run of Dark Souls, okay? I want to know whether I can beat the game using only a broken sword. So, I mean, the answer is yes, obviously. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made a video about it. Or is it? Yeah. Yes, it is. Okay, let's go! Okay, rule number 1. There are no rules. Except for these ones. So I'll be using the broken sword for the entire game with a few exceptions. Okay, there's a 1 summon per challenge rule, and I'm using it on the Moonlight Butterfly, because otherwise it would take about 9 years. And like, honestly, are you really here to watch me take on the Moonlight Butterfly with a broken sword, or do you want to see Ornstein and Smough? You know? So, I'm also going to be farming for Titty Knight quite a bit in this run, and I'm going to use whatever I have on hand to do that. Because, you know, fuck using the broken sword for farming, man. I'm not going to do it, because it's just not going to be fun, and that's the whole reason I'm doing this, is for fun, so I'm not doing it. I'm also not doing all bosses, okay? It's just getting to the end. Okay, so I go out my way a little bit here and there for materials and stuff, but I don't kill all the bosses, or even attempt the DLC. But if you want to see that, let me know. I might give it a go. So first things first, I made my character. He is a red man, and this is his name. He could beat up your dad. Fucking hell. First mistake I made was thinking that the broken sword hilt is actually the same as the broken straight sword, but that's not the case, because one does 2 damage, and the other actually is a viable weapon. And it took me, honestly, an embarrassingly long time to work that out. But anyway, so I farmed for a broken sword, and I took down the Asylum Demon. It's pretty easy, because this is the part of the game that everyone's done the most, you know, we all do it, we all know it by now. So let's keep going. After getting to the Firelink, first thing I did was run down through the Valley of Drakes. Okay, next to the big, stinky dragon is a shield that I want, so I grabbed that, and I very nearly died, I'll be honest with you. But it turns out, I'm actually amazing at this game, and I did a sweet backflip to safety. Now, up the lift to Darkroot just humiliated the Black Knight, man. I just pure fucked him. He's gone. I grabbed the Grass Crest shield because it's got the stamina regen boost. Then I ran off to the butterfly, okay? So now I spoke earlier about the summoning rule, and you're saying, oh, it's too easy now, you know? Well, it actually balances it out. You know, I balanced out the difficulty because, as it turns out, she's a moron. She can't be trusted. Anyway, so she got him eventually, though, but I died at the same time. But it still counts, so shut up, I don't care. I run up and I grabbed the Divine Ember, and I went and gave it to Andre. Bought enough Titty Knight to make my sword a +5. And then I went and grabbed 2 Estus upgrades. Okay, one from the church and one from New Londo. And that was the easy bit, because now it's time for the worst part of this run so far. Okay, I need to get down to this hole in the catacombs, but I can't use this bonfire because of this lady who's stopping me from lighting it, because she's standing right there. So anyway, so now I need to run from Firelink every time that I die, which is a lot, by the way. Anyway, so I got the green Titty Knight from this hole, and I upgraded my sword to Divine. So then it was time to grind out hollows in the church to get a second broken sword, so I can use it later. Now I know that sounds like a lot, but now we finally get to take down another boss. You know, the gargoyles actually weren't too bad, man. You know, it got a bit tense at times, but like, I sorted it out. It was like my 3rd try. So, you know, crowd control definitely isn't easy with the broken sword, but it is doable with just a little bit of patience, okay? You can get it done.
Ding dong and thank you.
Okay, the next thing was getting the Fap Ring from Lautrec, and now that I got that, it's time for another farming section. Hooray! Down to Blighttown, you got to kill these leeches over and over again until you get 9 green Titty Knight shards. Okay, so luckily they drop 5 at a time, so you just need them to drop like twice. But I looked it up, okay, there's a 2.06% chance that they'll drop them. And it took me about half an hour. So yeah, like, not too bad, it gets worse, trust me. With my sword upgraded to Divine +5, now we can take on Quelaag.
Oh shit! A spy!
Once you know what she's going to do, like once you know her attacks, it's kind of easy just to stay out of danger, man. Just stick to this part of her, and most of her attacks will just miss. So you only need to roll through her first sword swipe, and then the second and third, they'll just miss, man. Like, the only one you really need to watch out for is her AoE. Okay, when you see her sloop over, like, just get out of there, man. Like, this fight goes on for about 10 minutes per attempt. So you really just need to keep focus and not get too excited and start messing up and messing about. You know, nothing worse than dying 9 minutes into a 10-minute fight, okay? And I know, because it fucking happened to me.
Ding dong, marvelous.
So, I killed the Firekeeper, okay? It was in the name of Estus. I'm very sorry. And anyway, I went and took on Ceaseless then. It was one and done, very quick, just 3 souls. Okay, so now I had to get back out of Blighttown. Okay, so I picked up another Estus on the way, got my Estus all the way to +4. Next thing, I went to go fight Capra Demon, which I know isn't a required boss. I know I said earlier I'm not doing all the bosses, blah blah blah, whatever, fuck you. Sorry, I want to get the large ember, so I smacked him in the face. So I went down to the depths, got the ember.
Hey, that's mine!
Gave it to Andre, got my second sword to +10. At this point, you might need to wait until you get to the giant blacksmith in Anor Londo if you're doing it, but because of some of the farming I'd done earlier, I already had enough large titties to do this. Okay, so now I can take on Sen's Fortress. And running through wasn't much of an issue. I stopped on the way to pick up the covetous Serpent's Ring because of the item drop increase, because I need it for farming later. Anyway, so up to take on the Iron Golem. Now this guy, he was a bit of a ball ache, honestly, but like, I whittled him down. It took about 10 minutes. You can't make him fall over. That's the annoying bit. Like, normally you can stumble him, make him fall off a bridge, but you've just got to see this one through to the end, man. Like, you just got to get it done. Anor Londo is next, and this is where if you hadn't obtained enough large titties over the run to get your sword to +10, you'd actually have to carry all of the boss souls from the Iron Golem right the way through Anor Londo, past the gargoyles, over the rafters, past the archers. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's too risky, man. So, thankfully, I'd already gotten all of the large titties, so I was fine. Anyway, I saw my first ever Vagrant, actually, on the way up. And I fell off pretty much immediately. That's pretty cool. Never seen one before, but that's good. Look, I managed to parry one of the archers off the side, finally, so I could get through. I made a detour to pick up Havel's armor. I'm going to use that later. And I went around to go and see the giant blacksmith. And now it's another grind session, but let me tell you, okay, this is the worst fucking one. I never want to do this again in my life. But in order to upgrade my second sword to Lightning +4, I needed 9 Titty Knight chunks, okay? So chunks are dropped by these fellas, and they're called Royal Sentinels, okay? There are only 2 of them in the entire game, and they're both located right outside of Ornstein and Smough, okay? So they have, I looked all this up, by the way, they have an 8% chance of dropping a chunk upon death. Now, I have the covetous Serpent Ring from Sen's Fortress, and that increases item discovery by 200, making it a total of 300, okay? So I'm not entirely sure on how the maths works here, but I think it might be that it triples the drop rate of items. So if we assume that this is correct, it would make it a 24% drop chance for a chunk to fall from these fucking lumbering fuckfaces. So it shouldn't take too long, right? But for fucking 2 hours, man, I was killing the same 2 enemies just over and over. And I even got their shield to drop twice. And that's a 1% drop rate. And the halberd I got to drop once as well, which is apparently a 2% drop rate. So I'm getting all the rare shit and they're not even dropping common shit for me. Do you know what I mean? Look, man, I've since found out, actually, since playing this, that having humanity increases item discovery to a maximum of 410. Like when you pair it with the ring, and that would have been nice to know beforehand. Anyway, look, this is all in preparation for Ornstein and Smough. So I even had that to look forward to while farming for 2 hours. Like, whatever, man. Like, ONS next, let's go. So, I've got a shiny new electric sword now, and I got this for a reason, okay? And this is why also I chose to beat Smough first. Because he has a weakness to lightning, but only in his first phase. So like if you fight Ornstein first and you get Super Smo, he doesn't have... I think he actually gets like a resistance to lightning then, so that's no good. And so yeah, beat Smo first, which is not the way most players do it. Because Super Smo, easy as fuck. Super Ornstein, he's a bit tough, you know what I'm saying? Like he's just, yeah, he's a bit of an arse. Anyway, so the main difficulty with fighting Smo first, especially with this low damage output, is that Ornstein is so fucking fast, man. Like, he's just so quick. So I constantly have to keep an eye out for him while trying to hit Smo in the face. Because if Ornstein's too far away, he'll do that, like, that gliding attack. Like, you usually see it, like, first thing in the fight. Like, that's the first thing he does. But he'll do it if you get far enough away from him. And he'll honestly, like, he'll start, like, sort of clipping against the walls, and he'll, like, slide round. And sometimes he can hit you through Smo. Which is a bit fucking shit, because it's like if I'm trying to beat Smo and he's between me and Ornstein, like Ornstein will come through and he'll fucking spear through the back of Smo and hit me in the face with it, and like it's annoying. So this one took a while, man. So try and keep a happy medium distance, you know what I mean? Once you've gotten through all of that, then you've still got to deal with Super Ornstein, okay? And I choked a couple times on this bit, like I just fucked the whole thing. Like it was annoying, but I persevered. So with Super Ornstein, I found it best if you hug his left leg, as a lot of his attacks will just miss then. And like his lightning blast jump thing that he does, it's got a much smaller radius than Super Smo's one. So you can just like, you can literally just walk out and then come back. It's like, it's okay, but this was definitely the hardest boss fight so far. So I got the Lord Vessel from the Booby Queen, and now I can warp around, and it just makes life so much easier. I love being able to warp. So anyway, it's time to go back to the Asylum, which I know is another optional boss, but you beat the Stray Demon, you get a Titanite slab. And then I can upgrade my weapon, like, all the way. Okay, so I did that. I went back to Darkroot Basin so I could fight the Hydra. And the reason I did this is so that I could go the back way into Sif's fight, which I know if I just use some of my soul items, I could probably scrape 20k souls together to get the key, but... fucking whatever, Hydra's dead, I'm not, so there. Alright, listen man, it's time for the sad one, okay? Look, I let Sif win one just as a show of goodwill, and then I did what I had to do, okay? It wasn't very nice, and I tell you, the worst thing about this Broken Sword run is that I do so little damage that, you know, when he gets to, like, low health, and she starts doing that limp, you know what I mean? It's just like, you have to look at it for so much longer. Usually it's only like 1 or 2 hits, but like I was there for like 2 minutes just looking at her limping around. Oh, it's so sad, man. Anyway, it's done. And you'd think, considering I just did the boss fight that gives you the ring to go and fight the 4 kings, you'd think I'd go and fight them next, but no. Apparently I don't have a normal functioning brain, so I went to the fucking Demon Ruins, man. Obviously the next thing to do is Bed of Chaos. But not only did I go to the Demon Ruins, I forgot to put the Lord Vessel into the fucking altar thing. So I went all the way down the Demon Ruins, and there was just a golden force field there, man. Like I couldn't even get through. So I had to go all the way back to Firelink, place the Lord Vessel, warp back to Dead Spider Lady, very sorry once again, and just walk all the way down through the Demon Ruins back to where I was, and then pick up where I left off. And then I could fight Demon Fire Sage. It's just easy. Like, I've basically fought this boss twice already. You know what I mean? And then came Centipede Demon. Now, Centipede Demon isn't really challenging, but it's just you've got no room, you know what I mean? It can just take ages, and it's not because of the low damage, it's because it'll just stand out in the fucking lava and just do nothing, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's so bad. Anyway, so like he'll hit you sometimes with his like big arm, you know what I mean? And then when it like the arm is there after the attack and like it's still doing the animation, it just doesn't have a hitbox. Like I'm hitting it and nothing's happening, you know? Like there are times where I was completely certain that I'd hit the arm, you know, like no doubt about it, but like just no damage. And also it does this like jump fireball thing that I just hate, and it's ugly and it stinks. Fuck this guy. So Bed of Chaos. It's the Bed of Chaos, you know, do I need to say more? No amount of challenge run rules can change this fight at all. Like, you just gotta do it. So I did it, whatever. And I stopped for the night at this point, but I wanted to put the soul into the Lord Vessel first. But it turns out because I didn't speak to Frampt, you know, the big snake guy, before jumping in the first time, he called me a sorry fool.
You sorry fool.
Oof. It's on to the Duke's archives now. Okay, so these piggies in the corridor, they caused a bit of trouble when I tried to run past them. But I went back and killed one, and then I wore his face to intimidate the other one. Pure dominance, fuck you. Anyway, it felt really cool. Until, you know, I tried to do the Duke's archive skip. Oh, I just fucked it. Just gave up. I tried a little bit, couldn't do it, whatever. I just went to Seath anyway. Got put in jail for being too sexy. and then I carried on anyway. Yeah, just got it done. So get this. I went down to fight Seath, and the fucking clams just followed me in, man. So I had to do it again. I went back down, just destroyed him. Like, he's just so easy. You just unload on his right tentacle, and he's just finished. Don't take that one out of context. That's not a good sentence. Anyway, it's catacombs time. Can I just say, fuck the catacombs and everything they stand for. I had a terrible time getting to the bottom of the catacombs. It was so bad. And do you know, about 3 tries in, I realised I didn't actually upgrade my sword. You know, I went to go and do the Stray Demon like 10 hours ago. I just never upgraded it. I could have been doing more damage this whole time, and I just wasn't. But anyway, for some reason, I just forgot that I bought the Smith box and I could upgrade it at literally any bonfire. And I traipsed all the way back to Andre. And I say traipsed, like really I just spent like half a minute warping there and then warping back. And you know, that still took me more time than Pinwheel did. He's a joke, but we all know that at this point. It's just too easy. Hey, Tomb of the Giants was fun enough. I let Patches kick me up the arse so I could get the lantern, and I just gave him a kick back. Nito was way more difficult than I expected him to be. You know, on like a normal playthrough, like he's fine, but I'll tell you what, it's those skeletons. You do so little damage against them in particular. Even though, like, with my Divine Broken Sword, like with Divine Upgrade, I can permanently kill them so they don't come back. But every time I tried, Nito would actually do the attack that gives you Toxic. From he'd be like off screen and it would just hit me. And it would just all go downhill from there, man. Like one time, I just killed all the skeletons. Like, it just trial and error, just did it again and again and again until it worked. And I just hammered away at Nito. Like, once the skeletons are gone, it's easy enough, you know what I mean? You just keep hitting him, dodge his attacks. It's just classic Dark Souls, you know what I mean? Stay away from the big skeletons, though. Like, there's just one portion of the arena that you just shouldn't go to, because the big skeletons will get involved. And they are fucking awful. So don't go there. Anyway, yeah, easy enough to just whittle away at him. And he's done. Okay, it's New Londo time. And the ghosties, they're alright to deal with. You know, as long as you don't have to turn back on yourself. Because, like, then, by then, they'll have, like, all grouped up. And then they can just fucking do you in, like, instantly, man. But they can phase through solid objects, but I can't walk through them. Which I think is kind of bullshit. But whatever, it is what it is. So I drained the ruins, and I headed down.
We're the gruesome twosome.
You don't have to keep saying it. I know we are.
Now this next part, I was just dreading. Like, the entire time. So I've actually been following Zero Lenny's guide for this playthrough. He did a great video on it. I highly recommend it. But he said that this was going to be the hardest part of the run. Okay, so the Four Kings can actually end up as a 7-on-1. And there's no strategy except to just brute force it. Just try again and again. So I kindled the Firelink bonfire like as far as it could go. Chucked on Havel's gear. That's what I got it for. Don't know if you remember. And braced myself for the most difficult, long, drawn-out, toughest fight. And I just did it first try. You know, it's just one of those things. It was just easy for me. I might have gotten good RNG. I don't know. But they just weren't attacking me all at once. It was just one at a time. And as long as I stayed really close to the one that I was fighting, his attacks wouldn't actually do that much damage. Because I found out it's actually because the hilt of their weapon is hitting you instead of the blade. So the closer you stand from them, the less damage they do. Which is cool, yeah, so, you know, it was easy. Good for me. It was probably a fluke, but whatever. And with that, it's time to finish the game.
You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door!
You know, I can go all the way down to Gwyn now. And honestly, it's been kind of an easy time. I know this is a challenge run, but it just seemed to go well for me. Like, there were a couple of frustrating bits, but that's about it, really. And honestly, it took me a good few tries to actually beat Gwyn. Like, I'm good at parrying, but with a broken sword, you have to parry him like 50 times without dying. So there's like a rhythm you need to fall into, you know what I mean? And I realised something, actually, while I was dying to him repeatedly, with the exception of the 4 kings, I've actually played this whole game naked. I mean, I mean, my character has, not me, mostly. No, so I put on the clothes that were by Ceaseless. They have like a high flame resist, and Gwyn's sword is on fire, so that makes sense, you know what I mean? So with that, it just took a little bit of time, and I got it down. You know, I decided to link the fire, which is the good ending, I think, depending on how you look at it. You know, I'm not an expert on the lore, but honestly, the amount of players I saw leaving the boss arena, I was kind of troubling, you guys. Age of Dark, you know, I want to link that fire, baby. But there we go, it's done. I woke up in New Game Plus, and I decided to go and slap the Asylum Demon's thunder thighs again, just to see how much I'd grown. You know, like, they give you it's the 4th time I've beaten this boss now. And it was pretty quick. You know, that's how I did it. I beat Dark Souls with only a broken sword. What an achievement. Something to be proud of. I should probably get a job, though. Okay, so let me know if you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you liked the video. Comment below. I'd love to do more of this kind of thing, actually. You know, I could do the other games in the series, or maybe even like a different challenge altogether, different game, whatever. I'm not doing the DLC, though, so fuck you.